Your business might be growing slower than what you want because you're actually with the wrong bank. During this video, I want to have a conversation around 3 signs that it's time to break up with your bank. And yes, bank breakups are a real thing. They don't just happen in your personal life. You just don't break up with folks in business. Might actually have to break up with your bank, and it might be that time. So, I want to actually go through and talk about these 3 signs because this actually happened for me. So, as a multi 7 figure business owner. I have transitioned my banking relationship. And at the time that it happened, I actually didn't know that that's what the issue was. And it was actually one of my mentors that helped me see that the issue was actually I was with the wrong bank. So let me kind of backtrack for a little bit and just tell you a quick story of how my banking relationship as a business started. What were some of the signs that, okay, something isn't quite right? And then actually make it really concrete around what these signs are and how they might be showing up for you. So that way, you know, if it's time to move on and find your next bank boo. So I have had my business for going on 8 years. And when I first started my business 8 years ago, I just opened up my business bank accounts at the same bank that I was banking at personally. So I, at the time, was a school principal. And so I had a banking relationship with a bank that really I didn't have any other criteria for choosing other than the fact that it was just easy to go to the bank where I already was. And at the time, they had a bank account that was created for small businesses, created for like early stages startup businesses. So there were some incentives in terms of like waiving monthly fees and all that good stuff that it just made sense at the time that I started my business to go with that bank. Number of years later, I've now crossed the 7 figure mark, and now my business banking needs are more complex. And I got to the point in business where I wanted to explore lines of credit. And so I went to the bank that I now have been banking with for over a decade. Again, started with them personally, opened up a business bank account with them. And when I scheduled an appointment at the branch, the person that I talked to really couldn't give me a lot of information about their different loan products, their different business loan products, different business lending. And then when I asked them about line of credit opportunities, they kind of gave me like the easy process, like just click this button, submit this thing. You really don't need to submit any additional information. Our system on the back end will make some decisions and you could be approved. And when I went through the process, it was fairly easy, but I was really dissatisfied with the amount of the loan or the amount of the line of credit, given that I am a 7 figure business owner. You are holding multiple 6 figures of my cash at your bank. I'm a long term client over a decade. And the fact that you're giving me a line of credit that isn't even a month worth of my expenses, right? So I was experiencing this frustration and I really couldn't put language to it. And when I talked to my mentor, one of my mentors was like, well, you know, everybody has a target audience. So when it comes to banks, there are some banks who their target audience or their target client are larger corporations. There are some banks where their target client are individuals. And then there's some banks that their target audience, what they design their systems around, what they design their products and their support around are small businesses. And given who you bank with, I can tell you that that bank is designed for corporations. They are not designed for small businesses. And that is likely why you're experiencing these issues. Hey, y'all. I want to take a quick moment to pop in. I know the episode's getting really, really juicy, but I could not miss the opportunity to make sure that you know that we are headed to Atlanta October 3rd through 5th for 7 Figure Educator Live. This is my 3-day live event. It is the only 3-day live event for education consultants who are out here making a big impact and getting a big bank. And even if you feel like your bank ain't that big yet, I want you in the room because that's how your bank gets bigger, okay? I have curated a very special 3-day agenda that includes powerhouse speakers, 7, 8, 9 figure speakers, intentional networking to find your people, to find your next opportunity. Y'all, we're getting ready to take the city over, and we taking it over at a 5-star property, okay? Meet me in Atlanta October 3rd through 5th. Grab your ticket by heading to 7figureeducator.com. I'll link it in the show notes, and I'll see you there. And that's when the light bulb went off for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm with the wrong bank. And I believe it's time to break up with my bank. So I want to make this super concrete for you of what are some of the signs that it might be time to break up with your bank, the signs that I experienced, and get really concrete with it, because this could be one of the things that you may not know is actually holding you back in business, and it's holding you back from growing faster. So let's jump into it. I want to name 3 specific signs that it's time to break up with your bank. The first sign is unnecessary fees. So here's the deal. When it comes to your bank, there are a number of fees that they might be charging. Banks are in the business of making money just like everyone else. So how do they make their money? One way is charging particular fees. But if you are banking with them as a business, if you are holding accounts of money that are higher than the average individual, like I'm actually helping you out. So how are you going to help me out in my business if some of these fees you need to waive? I shouldn't be having to pay $5 here, $10 here. What does it look like to actually accommodate me and my business? And you should actually be in a position where you are actually seeking my business. And a part of seeking my business and serving me as a business is you should actually be making it attractive for me to bank with you. And part of that is actually waiving some of these fees. So if you find yourself looking at your business bank account statements and you have $5 here, $10 here, $25 here as business banking fees, that to me is a sign that it is time to break up with your bank, because you should not have all these small little fees when you're banking with an institution and holding 5 figures, 6 figures worth of cash, 7 figures worth of cash at their institution, and you want to charge me $5 a month? That don't make sense to me. So that's sign number 1. Sign number 2 is no one-on-one relationship. So when it comes to your business banking relationship, there should be someone at that brick and mortar location that knows your name. And not just the person who sits behind the glass, who's the teller that will accept deposits and process withdrawals. You need a business banker who sits at a desk, who knows your name, knows your business, knows the intricacies of your business, knows your priorities, so that way they can help advocate on your behalf. And the right business bank is not going to wait for you to approach them and cultivate the relationship. They are going to be proactive with cultivating the relationship. They're going to reach out to you. They're going to request a meeting with you. They're going to offer to help broker different relationships at the bank on your behalf. Hey, can I introduce you to this department? What are some of your needs for this next upcoming year? Are you looking to buy a commercial space? Are you looking to invest in these certain ways? Are you looking to hire? So therefore, you might need, do you need a merchant account for payment processing? So they're really going to take time to really understand the state of your business. And then through understanding the state of your business, it's facilitating this one-on-one relationship to where they're your partner in business. So if you do not have a one-on-one relationship with a business banker at your current banking institution, that to me is a problem. They should have already reached out to you to be able to learn more about you and your business, and to be able to see how they can best show up for you. For me, that's sign number 2, that it's time to break up with your bank. Hey there, I know I'm jumping in at a really juicy part of the episode, but I wanted to make sure you knew about a super special opportunity that me and my team have available. So imagine if you had a 90-day plan that outlines every single step you need to take every single week in order to generate at least 10K in your business. And that's exactly what me and my team do during our 7-figure strategic planning intensive. It is a live 6-hour workshop where we walk you through building your 90-day strategic plan to make more money in your business. Now, you have the opportunity to join us at our next intensive, and in order to do so, just click the link in the show notes to book a call with my team so we can tell you all about it. All right, we'll jump back into the episode and let's get back to this good fire content. Sign number 3 is that there is one-dimensional support. What do I mean by that? So when I say one-dimensional support, meaning in the ecosystem of a bank, of all the different products that they could be offering, if you find yourself only being supported in one area versus an ecosystem of support, then to me, that's a red flag. So an example of that would be is you only have checking and savings accounts at the bank. To me, that's one dimensional support where really the only need that you provide for me is bank accounts. Versus if you have business lending products, lines of credit, you have business loans versus commercial real estate. If we're talking commercial loans and SBA loans and providing that level of support, merchant accounts, whether it's a payment processor, you on a business want to diversify your payment processors in your bank. 9 times out of 10 has a payment processor they can offer up for you. So that way you don't have to just depend on a PayPal, which I would not recommend as a business. You use PayPal, whole nother conversation. You don't just have to depend on Stripe. You can have another payment processor that likely your banking institution can offer up. So when you think about what are the different loan products and services, what are the different banking products and services that you could be taking advantage of as an entrepreneur, your bank should be able to provide holistic support for all of your financial needs in your business when it comes to lending, when it comes to bank accounts, when it comes to any type of loan products, anything dealing with money in your business. Your bank should be able to provide you with that level of support to be able to figure out what's the best way we can partner together to help support you and your goals in your business. So, those are 3 signs. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to kind of take a step back and I want you to kind of audit that banking relationship that you have. And if you're in the early stage of business, you might be looking for your banking relationship. These are things to keep in mind when you're brokering that relationship. And here's one of the key mindset shifts that I had to go through is that it is a pleasure and honor to serve me, right? So when we're approaching these types of relationships with a bank, it's not just a matter of, oh, I need a bank. Well, a bank also needs me. And so when they're operating from a place of needing my business, there's a way in which they show up, invested in that relationship, nurturing that relationship to be able to make sure that you're served as a business owner. So if you found this episode to be really helpful, let me know in the comments. Give me some feedback. I want to know your takeaways. And I would love for you to share it with an entrepreneur friend because sharing is caring. And if you have found this content to be really, really helpful, I want you to hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss future content. I'll see you next time.